Arena points claim failed, down bad. For shame. What's going on though, Kyoro, Skyward, how you guys doing? Juve, what's going on? How you doing? Give just a little bit for people to get in here. How am I getting paid? It might be side. I haven't been in a couple streams because of work / not in a bad or not. Yeah, no, you were not in a bad headspace. That makes you not want to come to streams. But if you're not in a good headspace, but I'm back, well, I hope you're working through it, brother. If you ever want to talk, got people around you that are willing to listen, myself included. But I hope I'm glad to see that you're doing better and hope it continues. SM, what's going on? Joe as well? You're still at work? Oh no. Well, lurk away, brother. Couldn't stay for the whole stream yesterday. Understandable, though. I did stream later than I usually do. Alright, now, when we finished up last time, we did progress into Chapter 1 of Game 2. And it starts off on a decently strong note, having returned back to Japan and have been living there for 2 months since her arrival. Susato is now taking on the defense of her friend Ray for the suspected murder of Miss Giselle Brett. For, if you don't remember, she was the person that ended up killing Dr. John H. Wilson at the beginning of Game 1. She was kind of under diplomatic immunity, in a way to phrase it. But she ended up getting smoked on the beach 2 months after Susato arrives back in Japan. Obviously, it's not Susato's friend, but in order to defend her, Susato has to enter the Japanese courts in a little bit of a disguise. She has to wear a male student uniform and is masquerading as a person called Ryutaro Naruhodo, the cousin of Ryunosuke. So right now, I think this, and as a little bit of an aside, speaking a little bit more for the meta narrative, this is, I think, a great way to do a what's the word? A tutorial case. Because in the past, tutorial cases have been like very like different on how they work and what's going to be going on with them. Whether it be like, you know, in game 1 of Ace Attorney, you have Phoenix that's like, this is my first case, you know, I'm learning how to do this.
CRS Cleeboom, CRS Cleeboom, CRS Cleeboom.
And speaking of doing things, M&H back for the 10 months. Welcome back to the family, brother. Appreciate it as always. Thank you for sticking with us. But yeah, like I was saying, like Phoenix learning to get in really strong with his lawyer side, and then in game 2 it was, oh, Phoenix has amnesia. That kind of fucking sucks. Game 3 it was, this is a new lawyer. Apollo Justice, new lawyer. Dual Destinies, it was Athena's time, right? And then in Spirit of Justice, it's this is a new what's the word? New court system, basically. 3-1 was Mia's second case. Well, yeah, but I mean like our introduction to the character, right? It was our first time entering the court as that lawyer. Because I guess you could say, like, if you've gone through like law school, you should at least know what you're getting into the moment you step into a courtroom. But from a player's perspective, it's our first time interacting with the character. It's our first time seeing how they interact with a courtroom. Gotcha! Speaking of first times, I believe this is Pepperoni Pizza's first time being gifted a tier 3 sub from M&H. Welcome back to the family, Pizza, and if you are here, please thank M&H for the generosity. Appreciate it very much, though, M&H. Thank you. But yeah, like, that gotcha scared the shit out of me. Well, I mean, yeah, you got. Don't get got. If you don't get got, you can't get got. It makes sense, right? Like, logistically. Anywho. Like I was saying, I feel like this is a great way to introduce players to the mechanics again without just having it be like, oh, this is your first time interacting with this character. And this might be some people's first time playing the game, so we have to have some form of tutorial. I think this narratively makes the most sense, right? I think this is a fantastic way to do it. And so without further ado, let's get back into it. We left off at the to be continued. I think, what was it? We had just found out that the photographer for the article for Soseki and Professor Mikotoba meeting was the same person that took the picture of Ray interacting with Giselle Brett's body, right? So hopefully now we can actually rip him from wherever the fuck he's hiding out at, because he's been in the courtroom a couple times. He's been following Soseki around, so hopefully we can ask him some questions starting up relatively soon. As we left off, it was the 13th of August, 10:41 a.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant Antechamber number 3. So sorry, Susato. Should have told you about the toxin. There's a short beginning part to case 2 if you want to play some of that too before ending the stream. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Ray. You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone. No, that's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. So I hoped to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, you remember what you said, Susato? That
that you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence, that you'd stand by me to the last. I remember. And yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me. I deserve it. No, in fact, throw me to the floor. No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets. I'm no better, you know? Oh? Even though in my heart I knew that you'd pull the knife blade from Miss Brett's back, there was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Susato, I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be by your side, I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer. Oh no.
I think this situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task.
Yes, Father. That fact certainly has struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray? Yes? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Susato. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Ray.
Alright. Oh, we're not going immediately back in? I thought it wasn't going to take hardly any time to subpoena Mr. fucking writing mini memos. I thought he was going to come out instantly, bro.
I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying.
Yep.
And then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet, fell to her knees, and before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back.
Also, I just kind of forgot something. I don't know if it's gonna come up, but the fountain pen that she had in her hand carries the initials RM, and the guy's name is Writin' Many Memos. I didn't realize this last time, but seeing her gripping the pen, it kind of brought it to the memory as well.
And you were the only people in the hut at the time. That's right, just Miss Brett and myself. There was no one else. So I just don't understand how she possibly could have been stabbed like that.
Great mystery indeed.
I still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up.
Probably that paparazzi. Well, yeah, that's writing many memos. That's writing meanie memos.
It will be alright. However it happened, whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you've said, or everything that you said you saw is true.
Spoken like a true Mikotoba. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order.
Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory-synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it.
That's why they sent it to the fucking Yume University, right? That's where we were having it tested at? Not crazy, right? Yes, we'll have this chemical reagent. It's possible to detect the toxin.
So just spray it on the... Just spray it on the fucking... Chemical reagent?
I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though. Just in case. Chemical reagent has been entered into the court record. What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet.
It's this newspaper article. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. It was all the Englishwoman's doing. What? It was when the professor and Soseki were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swanned in, like her hat, get it? Oh god, I hate it here. Without any compunction, said to Professor Mikotoba, "Oh, Professor, surely your guest would love to hear about your work on that substance there."
It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Soseki's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction.
So then, Soseki-san, fuck, I did it, knew about the poison.
It's weird, though, considering that we didn't really have that in, like, throughout the first game at all, unless it was some weird circumstances where Ryunosuke was inner monologuing about Susato. Because even when he was talking about Susato to everybody else, he would say Miss Susato, right? That was kind of a neat point. But the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too.
This mini memo. By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh, no, I don't remember the reporter being there.
Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone wanted him there.
Oh?
A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Soseki pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office.
Yet he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photo. And then presumably he posted it anonymously to the police.
I think they use the honorifics to differentiate between them speaking English and Japanese. Well, yeah, of course, we're in Japan. I didn't really think they'd be speaking English. But in what's the word? In England, right? Like how I was talking about Ryunosuke having those monologues, he would like internally say Susato-san, but he would say Miss Susato out loud, which I think is a neat touch. Counsel, we just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed into the courtroom at once. It's time to steel ourselves once again, then. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Yes. Reyes put her faith in me now and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. What's going on, Officer Dick 'em Down? Did you play Zero Time Dilemma? Just finished your VLR VODs and was wondering if you ever streamed the last game? Oh, yeah, I did. I didn't save it, though, because holy shit is that game not great. I did not enjoy Zero Time Dilemma. There might be some clips, but Zero Time Dilemma was a disaster. So I didn't save those VODs. Out of the whole Zero Escape series, I think thoroughly the only one I enjoyed from start to finish was VLR. 13th of August, 11:30. It took a minute. 11:30 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, courtroom number 1. I hereby call this court to order as we reconvene to continue the trial of Rei Membami. Prosecutor Auchi, have you summoned the new witness? Before I address that question, Your Excellency, I have some very important news to share. Oh? What news? And why does he look so happy about it?
During the recess, with the collaboration of Professor Mikotoba's laboratory at Yume University,
The police have re-examined the knife that was used to end Miss Giselle Brett's life.
So you think you got bars now, you bald bitch? Excellent. I admire your rapid handling of the matter.
Oh, too kind, Your Excellency, too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course.
I had the reagent delivered to police headquarters by rickshaw, so it would be there in good time.
By judging the man's swagger, I feel we might need to...
Oh. I saw fucking Ouchie and thought it was him. But judging by the man's swagger, I feel we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable.
And, Counsel, what were the results? This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, has no trace of poison anywhere along its blade. What? Are you sure about that? I would stake the reputation of the police on it.
Well, as you learned from the last game, police ain't shit. Fuck 12. Armed with a reagent, the test is extremely simple. They couldn't have made a mistake. Well, murder weapon found. In the court record now.
In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed.
We gotta stop taking damage.
Now, the prosecution is ready to call the new witness.
But before you do, let me take a quick little look-see. I mean, this kind of looks like I can't do anything. Anywho. Oh yes, this must be the victim's blood. No, it's fucking Kool-Aid.
Oh dear. Blood is never a pretty sight, is it? I'm having to fight the urge to run it under a hot tap and get it clean.
Fastidious? That's a word I haven't seen in a long-ass time. You've always been fastidious about cleanliness, haven't you?
I think this is something else, Father.
Alright, well... without being able to look at anything else... I believe this is all that we can do with the big blade. Unless, yeah, no. See, I don't understand. We're gonna get something in the future that's not gonna give me the check mark, and I'm not gonna understand why it doesn't give me the check mark, even though I would have looked at it already. Anywho. Ah, the newspaper reporter who managed to capture a photograph of the crucial moment. Good. Very well. Officer, bring in the witness.
Trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case, how could the toxin have entered the victim's body? Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
A journal? Okay. Writing many memo of the Show You News. I'm what people like to call a journal. Oh, and we see the little fucking sigil on his, It's kind of hard to see right now because we're not looking at him. However, if we look at the knife again, the pen again, you can see that this symbol here... Let me get this out of the way. This symbol here... If I can flip it properly... almost... Just give me 1 second. This is very hard. This is about as good as it can be. But this symbol is on his armband. So, yeah.
What's a journal, Father? Do you know?
It's simply a contraction of journalist. Yeah, see there. Oh, I had it upside down, but you can tell it's the same symbol, right? The three fucking crosshairs. Either that or this guy's a really big fan of Smash Bros, like 200 years removed. I'm where the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch the scoops so they're in the print next morning. They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. I'm the nice guy in news.
Oh, so, it was you who took this photograph, was it?
Well, well, what have we here?
I'm sorry?
Oh, brace yourselves, people. Mini Memo senses a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. Curiously handsome? The readers will lap this up. We'll set it at the fold above this at 72 point in a 5-leg format for the morning edition.
Huh?
Right then, let's start with your name.
Oh, it's Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Next, what made you want to become a lawyer?
Well, I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose.
Ryutaro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see.
I just borrowed Kazuma's dream for a while.
By the way, my name is Takatsuchi Aoshi. That's T-A-K-E-T-S-U-C... I'm trying to, like, imagine, like, Japanese spelling, because I'm super ignorant about the whole thing. So, like, I assume that all of these are, respective letters in the Japanese alphabet. Like I said, I'm a huge fucking Western boy, right? I have no idea. So, it's probably not exactly like that. The so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear into every defense lawyer's heart. No, the readers won't buy that. What? Witness? Yeah. This court demands to know is whether or not you were responsible for the taking of this picture. It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday. Yeah, I wouldn't be a journal if I didn't click quick when presented with a scoop like that now, would I? Sometimes stories call out to me, sometimes I have to chase them down, but either way, you gotta be fast. Fast legs to run with and a fast hand to write with. It's no good if you don't note it down, I always say. That's what I call... You're a loser. I'm just gonna let you know, you're a loser. Also, if he writes with a pencil, what explains this stain right here?
Mini Memoism?
Ah yes, I remember your face. We met that day when you were interviewing myself and Soseki. Yeah, right. That was me, Mini Memo again. But you were supposed to be going back to the Shoyu news offices after our meeting. What the scoop is, I didn't. Because that English woman's words had piqued my journalistic interest.
Miss Brett's words.
A criminal left to do as she pleases just because she happens to be a British citizen? It's horse dung. This country's judiciary is rotten to the core. The Supreme Court's rulings aren't worth the paper they're written on. The police are just imperial pawns. Stay your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play. Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down those words she said in my mini memo pad. Also, I just noticed that he has another pencil right here. So, he's not going to be destroying his pencil anytime soon. I've never seen someone lick their pencil. Pens, yes, but huh? Well, the only reason people will do that with pens is if it's like an old pen that they haven't really, they haven't used in a while to get the dried up ink out of the way. I knew somebody that used to do that. Because they didn't write with their pen that often, and it was just like, oh, well, the ink's dried up at the tip, and it's like, why not just have another pen? Are you ready? I'll read it out. It's all right here. Right, here goes. I should like to go out with everyone to see a country's coasts. A serious criminal going on some junket. The people need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. To get the woman's story so I could hammer her. Oh my god, I read that wrong. Jesus Christ, I read that wrong. I saw PSS and I had to fucking reread it like 6 times. Holy shit. Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand? The grim seed portrayed in this photograph. Oh yes! I saw with my own very own journal eyes. From start to finish, through the viewfinder of my trusty camera. Thank you, Mini Memo. We'll now give a formal testimony before the court. You will state exactly what it is that you witnessed of the events surrounding Miss Brett's death.
Hammer her in the press? Bro.
Hey, yo! I see what you about, my guy. The camera never lies. The beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screens, so there was plenty of gaps I could see inside through. The Englishwoman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the Englishwoman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering journal spirit burst into flames. Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera, ready to click. Didn't you say you were watching it through your viewfinder? Wouldn't your camera have already been whipped out? I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot.
Reed screens, you say?
Right. You could see them clearly enough in that great shot I snapped. The hut walls were just screens made of coarsely woven reeds. Yes, it allows the breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat. And it was a breeze for me to poke my camera through and see the whole thing hotting up.
Ignoring the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved. Did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut?
Oh yeah, I saw it. I saw the whole thing from start to finish.
And you say that you took the photograph through a gap in one of those screens?
Luckily for me, they were pretty shoddily woven. Pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the gap. Would I get away with it? Would I be seen? It was a gamble of a lifetime. A tenacity of purpose that's considered admirable in a journalist, I suppose. Run a risk one day, run a scoop the next. That's mini memoism in a nutshell. At last, it would appear we have a genuine witness to this wicked crime. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict.
No.
Wonderful news, Your Excellency. Wonderful. Nevertheless, it cannot be denied that this testimony begs one very large question. What question? Exclusive news, a startling photograph, all the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter. Why then was this story never published? Damn. He's got you.
Oh, that's right.
It seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood. Ha! More pathetic excuses! Parry the platform! Very well then, counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Excellency. There's more to this reporter than meets the eye.
What's going on, Cav? How you doing?
He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest.
Camera never lies.
Alright, so I want to hear about the pulled out a knife shit, right? They were fucking preparing, you bust out a pair of them. It's really just, I'm noticing every time that I do it how close it is to being like a real slipshod fucking Doofenshmirtz impression. So I'm like,
Hold it!
it's close enough.
Do you swear before this court that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place?
The precise moment? I didn't see just that. I saw the whole hellish scene play out, from start to finish. I have here a simple plan of the beach hut. Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed. Right you are. It's all here in my mini memo pad. When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure that the English woman was on this stool at the back of the hut here. Yes, the accused's own testimony confirms that.
She just sat at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly, is what I have noted down.
It's my turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt. Then, the next moment, as I was watching, the evil student girl entered the hut. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut, arguing furiously. The Englishwoman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way. And in a flash, plunged the knife into her adversary's back as the two passed each other. Bro, she got hit with fucking... That's the illest fucking whiff punish of all time. Whiff punish and a stabbing back? That's crazy. Also... no poison was on the knife, right? But it said she would have died within minutes, right? In the post-mortem report. Death would have occurred within minutes. Makes sense. Alright. And let's... Do we have anything new to say about this? Wait, hold on. We got some new shit.
If we take off the pen's lid...
We didn't have this before. Am I crazy? Definitely didn't have this before. Well, shit.
Now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we?
Oh, well... No ink.
This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink.
Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up through the nib.
Is something wrong, Father?
Just that there actually doesn't appear to be any ink in there. That's all.
Oh, yes. You're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose.
Okay. Very small amount of liquid inside the ink reservoir, but not actually ink itself. Anything to say about the initials?
The RM initials are very clearly engraved here.
And the fact that Miss Brett was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message too.
To identify her killer, you mean?
I don't think there can be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case.
Well, we know for certain that this emblem isn't of that of Yume University.
The police really ought to have spotted that.
They were obviously convinced of Ray's guilt from the outset.
Okay, well... It looks like we are quite done with that. What you describe is indeed a grim crime. What you describe is a grim crime indeed. Fucking mix myself. Never sugarcoat the truth. That's what mini-memoism says. Beach hut plan is entered in the court record.
By the way, mini-memo. Whilst you were watching that terrible scene unfold before your eyes through the gap in the screen, did it not occur to you to try to prevent the tragedy, rather than capture it on film?
Journals have to be observers. We can't get involved. That's how oh, I don't know French. If you were raison d'être? Because I know that fucking with French, right? You say the letter before the apostrophe. Any French people in chat willing to help?
So you didn't converse with Miss Brett at all?
Obviously not. An observer always remains on the outside looking in.
And that's something to be proud of, is it?
Your Excellency, if I may... Yes, Professor? I think the witness's last, expertly phrased statement should perhaps be added to his formal testimony.
Father, what are you...
Missed what you said? You a French person? No. I have zero the only things I know about French are omelette du fromage means cheese omelet, right? And bonjour means hello. That's all I got. Mini memo, you will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement. Well, nihilism is the foundation of mini memoism, but I'll gladly prove that my words are meaningless. Never once set foot in the hut nor spoke with the Englishwoman. I was only there as an observer. Well, I mean, if you never spoke with her, right? Then how the fuck did she get your pen? Because that's the only thing that I can think makes sense right now.
Objection!
Mini memo, until now I've had a firm belief that newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth.
You're spot on there. The press doesn't lie, which is why I'm proud to wear the emblem of Show You News on my arm. Did he just forget? Is he stupid? I mean, I know he's stupid, but did he just forget? In a way, that's more mini memoism.
Sadly, though, it seems the journalists who writes for these papers don't always share the same passion for the truth.
What are you suggesting with those recriminatory words, Counsel?
Mini memo, do you recognize this fountain pen?
Hey!
This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murdered victim was gripping it in her hand as she died.
What do you...
If you look at the barrel of the pen, you'll notice that its owner's initials are engraved there. RM.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Counsel. The initials of the accused, Ray Membami.
Is it a coincidence, I wonder, that your initials are also RM?
No! Not a coincidence? No, completely on purpose.
Write in mini memo. RM.
That's horse dung. Can't you see? One of the central tenets of mini memoism is being a pencil user. Sure. Yup. Uh-huh.
And yet, as the court will clearly be able to see on your right hand,
Thank you.
there's a very obvious blue ink stain.
It would appear that you must have been rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is. Horsey horse dung.
Mini memo. Is it not the case that before she died, you met with Giselle Brett in that beach hut?
Objection!
Why would we listen to this absurd nonsense? It's nothing but another excuse. Exactly. Show You News will always stand behind me. I'll deny everything. There must be as many people with the initials RM as there are stars in the night sky.
The defense has neither the time nor the inclination to count every star in the sky.
Huh?
And there's no need anyway, because this pen has more to tell. Yes, there is another clue. A clue that undeniably proves who its owner really is.
In that case, counsel, the defense will now show the court where this alleged clue lies.
Of course, Your Excellency.
Kusado is brutal. She got bars.
The clue on this fountain pen that clearly reveals its owner identity is...
I'm balling. Oh, wait, fuck. I forgot. I completely forgot. I keep doing that. I keep clicking to present instead of just fucking hitting the present button. Well, here we go. I guess that's good though. So that way you don't accidentally present something instead of just double checking to make sure you're in the right spot. That's very nice. This is my new favorite objection theme. Nothing for me can bypass the Apollo. The Apollo Justice one is never getting beaten. Oh my god, that one is so good. Hold on. Hold on. I got y'all. This one is so good. That one is Pressing Pursuit is great. Holy shit. Oh yeah, not this is the best Ace Attorney song. I even think Apollo's objection theme is pretty good too. Hold on, let me bring that up. Is it this one? Objection! I like how it kicks up. I like how from the first 30 seconds into this second half here, you get the little like snare kick. I think it's very good. I think that one's my favorite. Like Apollo Justice for me. I don't have to tell you guys. Apollo Justice is my favorite character. He's my favorite. He has like my favorite themes. He's got the character in Ace Attorney that I like the most, right? I fucking love Apollo Justice. His game is like okay, but I think as a character, everything else about that game, woo! I kept accidentally doing the opposite for the first two cases of game 1 on Switch, X for present and A for info. Ooh, yeah, that would be fun. Alright, let's get back out of this.
An emblem that you will of course recognize, Mini Memo.
Goodness me, it's the emblem of the Shoyu News.
In other words, the owner of this pen is an employee of the Shoyu News, whose initials are RM. Suddenly the stars in the night sky don't seem so numerous, do they?
Yo, she got fucking bars. Where was all this fire in game 1? Holy shit. Dog, she was ready. She's been practicing. Holy shit.
Well, Mini Memo, how do you respond?
Oh! Order, order. Explain yourself, witness.
So,
this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactics to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets.
I've used nothing but honest tactics.
Alright then, fine. I won't try to hide it anymore. And not long before that grim tragedy unfolded, I, as a Shoyu News reporter, on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman.
An interview?
You never mentioned this before.
When exactly was this?
As I said, it was before that evil little student girl showed her face in the hut. It couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes, that's all. It was just a brief exchange. But it came to nothing. As we mini-memos say, the people don't pay their dues for unworthy news. So you think you got bars. However insignificant you deem it to be, this court cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. We'll testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired. Got it. It's alright. But on one condition. Condition? In all good conscience, I couldn't speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witness, Saseki Natsume.
Saseki?
Oh yeah, according to my notes here, that man has a secret of his own. And brace yourselves, because it's not a harmless one. It's big.
What?
Should have screenshotted that one. Honestly, should have, Many memoism states that one man's secret is every other man's front page story. Very well, I will grant the witness request in this instance. Officer, summon the earlier witness back to the stand.
Seki, hiding something.
Witnesses' secrets. I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. Really now? Then, watching secretly from the outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witnesses come running. The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why mini-memoism demands I reveal it now. Yes, Saseki, that's kind of fucked. You mean to say that the victim... The victim regained consciousness? Well, And when she did, you decided to ask her a question? That's, true. Yes. He did. And that's not all. The woman gave him a very definite answer. An answer that incriminates the accused. Did his hands pop into existence there? Did I see that right? I have to go back and look, but I think Soseki in that zoom out right there, I think his hands didn't exist for a second. This is preposterous! Why am I only hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before, you yokel hack? It wasn't even a conversation! Yes, I did pose the withering English Rose a question, I don't deny it. But she could no longer speak. She was barely conscious, even. Counsel for the defense, I expect a thorough cross-examination to be conducted here. The court must and will know the truth.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. The reporter is claiming that Miss Brett implicated Ray somehow. What on earth could have happened in that hut?
We could finally live a life. He came back here and became an award-winning writer. Dog, if I left my home to go study and came back an award winner, woo! You bet damn sure I'm loving life. Alright, I think it's the last couple there talking about his question. Because we need to find out what that fucking question is.
Hold it!
What question? What exactly did he say?
Well now, you should hear that from the horse's mouth, I think. Don't you, Mr. Writer Man? Out with it, you yokel hack! What did you say to her? What did you say to the dying Englishwoman? Well, in truth, I'd been catching crabs Do I even need to finish the sentence? I think we can leave it there, right? Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure, I suppose. Even for a grown man. But then, all of a sudden, from that little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the air.
Ray.
I ran up the beach to see what was happening, to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosonaga saw Miss Brett on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. And then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan. A moan from the dead Englishwoman. I nearly jumped out of my skin.
But what did you ask her, Soseki?
I asked her, who did this to you? Don't protract this any longer. How did the woman respond? She didn't! She said nothing in response! What? When in the stand, you will answer the questions as asked of you unambiguously. Now, without evasion or reticence, I demand that you amend your testimony. I will! He just lifted a trembling finger and pointed it in the direction of the defendant. Ah!
Hold it!
Miss Brett pointed a finger at the defendant. Soseki, is that really true?
It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut, the Englishwoman was sprawled out on the floor before us, with the student girl standing on the far side of her. And when I asked, who did this to you?
Are you guys fucking dumb? Hold on.
Wait, also, this is super fucked, right? Okay, so what they're saying is she lifted a finger to point towards the back of the hut. So either she spun around or she has impeccable aim and just pointed back there. And then her hand dropped like this. That's fucking crazy. But again, I said it before, there's this little slit in the reeds here, which, yeah, she wasn't pointing at her. Which was, it can't be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today.
No.
Soseki, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony? But fiddlesticks, I say! This is not a British court of law. You will respond in Japanese. Yes, of course. The Englishwoman did point her finger towards the back of the hut, but I was trembling, and she was trembling, and everything was a blur. And thinking about it, I feel as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no, not slightly, in a very different direction to where the student girl was standing. To somewhere at the back of the hut, where nobody was standing at all.
You mean that your memory of events and the direction of which the victim were pointing at were both unclear?
Yes, that's it, unclear. I'm very, very unclear. Soseki, what the fuck?
Objection!
Your Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger wavered slightly. But there could be no doubt that this was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because as the court can see, there was no one other than the accused in the direction of the victim was pointing. It's now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could have possibly committed this crime.
I am inclined to agree. And in the absence of any credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this trial.
No!
Clearly she pointed at Ray, but also pointed in some other direction. Well, yeah, it's kind of like, it's kind of like a clock, right? Just because the hand is pointing in one direction... Wait, no, this is a shit analogy. Because clocks only point directly. Never mind. I was gonna do something with both hands of a clock. They're point... Look. Just because... Look, I have my cursor on the wall back there, right? I have it at the top of this door frame. But it's also very clearly ahead of, or on top of, rather, Mini Memo's head. Look, not all of my analogies can be bangers. The first time I think about them, you know, right? Like, maybe, right? Maybe they suck. And that's a life lesson for all of us. Sometimes the first time you do something, it might suck. But then you make it better, and you get better at it. Actually, point being, I'm right, fuck you. The headline's writing itself. Dashing Lawyers Hopes Dashed, 92 point across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition. This is a serious blow, Susato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate our claim with evidence. The judge will give his ruling and the trial will be over.
That's impossible, Father. We don't even know how the crime was committed yet.
Impossible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we've learned thus far. Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need.
Ray gave us her account of how the events unfolded in the defendant's antechamber before the trial resumed. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed.
Sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. Yeah, we got it. Collapsed. Yep.
How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back in a beach hut that was empty but for herself and Ray? Somewhere amid all the information we've gathered so far, there must be an answer to that question.
I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add?
So, the gallant yokel student's luck finally runs out. I can't say I'm surprised.
In that case, I'm ready to deliver my final verdict on this matter.
This is a crucial turning point now. If I can't establish what really happened, it's over. Where was the real culprit hiding? And how did he or she stab the victim? Oh, I know.
Objection!
Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone your adjudication for the time being.
Oh? To what end, counsel?
The defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternative theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
Objection!
An alternative theory? Ha! None exists.
Objection!
There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed the crime.
What?
And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time by mustering all her remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction.
This is fiction. Fantasy.
Very well. As you seem so sure of yourself, counsel, I'm prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryotaro Naruhodo,
Yes, Your Excellency.
you will present your latest theory to the court by means of this plan. At the moment the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing the culprit was concealed?
Bink.
Take that!
Naruhodo would never give up. And I'm a Naruhodo now. The true culprit who fatally stabbed Miss Brett was concealed in this location here.
Are you mad, counsel? You're suggesting that the culprit was outside the hut?
What? Parent?
Order, order, order. But student and lawyer Naruhodo Esquire, that makes no sense at all. You just pointed out the exact spot where I was hiding to get my scoop snap. But I didn't see any suspicious individuals loitering about, I can swear to that.
Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut, there is no way that he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut.
Actually, Prosecutor Ouchie, there is a way. And, in point of fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting that is precisely the way Miss Brett was killed.
You're bluffing.
The defense's assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, counsel. What piece of evidence corroborates your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut? It would be... I mean, this is the only thing I can think of. The original photographic print of the crime scene.
Yes, it's clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from outside the beach hut.
Objection!
Do you take us for fools? There's no hint of any such thing.
I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone, at least, appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to.
Counsel, once again, I must call on you to be explicit for the court. Where on this photograph is the trace of the stabbing which you claim took place from outside the hut? Let me just line this. I want to line this up like bink, bang.
Look closely just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of a blade having been forced through the reeds.
No! I can't! I can't see any such thing!
It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls as you'd expect. However, by parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them.
This is extraordinary.
Yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. And of everyone present at the scene, there was only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Writes in mini memo. It could only have been you.
No!
Objection!
This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photograph again. The victim lies exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not? Are we to assume that part of this farcical scenario, that the assailant was a knife thrower?
Objection!
No, idiot. Of course not.
We're not!
If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death.
Yep, she was sitting at the back. Dog, imagine that. Somebody coming to you and saying, I know you stole something, and it's like, haha, I'm fucking untouchable. Oh shit.
A stool?
Have another look at the photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. The slit in the reed screen would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on that stool.
My word. So, in fact, the victim was...
Killed while sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the reed screen. Ah! Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively. But then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut, before the defendant, Mbami's appalled eyes. And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day.
Well, he's just gonna deny it. Right? Like, that's... We're done here, right?
There's silence, mini memo. I take it that you don't deny the charge.
This is absurd!
That will do. It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter, which means that the defendant, Mbami, is innocent of the crime.
Oh, thank goodness. Finally made him cave.
I must say, I've never been more proud.
No! This can't be! The Ouchie clan can't! What of my growth? My growth of hope! It wasn't all an apparition! I can't accept this! I won't!
I see no reason for the continuance of this trial. I will therefore move to conclude proceedings by delivering my final verdict in...
Of course.
Well, this is all very convenient. What's going on, X? This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice, is it? Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and branding them as criminals.
But we just proved it. You're a criminal. We've established that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut through the reed screen walls.
No one but you was in place at the time to have his hand on the hilt of the blade. It's a perfectly logical deduction. So, your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the Englishwoman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now.
Irrelevant.
Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed, it doesn't matter. I mean, whether she was stabbed at all makes no difference if you think about it. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. After all, this trial's already shown the whole thing hinges on something else.
What are you talking about?
Brace yourself, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. Because of the dirt you dug up.
What?
Enough obscurity. Explain yourself, witness. What's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course.
Poison?
I was thinking about doing it again, I'm gonna be honest. We'll ask the professor for a comment on the situation, shall we? I understand that a deadly poison you were developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that this poison was administered to the victim, Miss Brett. Is that right? That is correct. The unusual constriction of the victim's pupils are a sure sign that this particular poison was used. I see, I see. So, presumably, that means that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed. Ah. Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it seems highly likely, yes. If she had been dead already, the poison could not have circulated in her blood. You got saved, dickhead. You got saved. We gonna break this down piece by piece, brick by brick. But we got you. You got that one.
Ah, how refreshing to hear an argument of the metropolitan mind. Precisely. It matters not a jot who stabbed the victim whom, in whose back, and with whose blade. Because, quite simply, the Englishwoman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison.
Objection!
But that can be explained by the poison being on the blade, as I already... Oh, fuck.
Objection!
Forgotten already, have we, yokel? During these very proceedings, the laboratory of the professor at your side assisted in proving that the blade of the weapon used to attack the victim had no trace of poison on it whatsoever.
And they use the fucking the reagent, right? So let me get this down. The facts as skillfully established by the defense in this trial don't have to be a headline-making red herring. Is that about right?
Well...
Order, order, order. But where does this leave us? How, in that case, did the poison enter the victim's body? There is an undeniably obvious answer to that. The lady most likely imbibed it.
You mean she drank it?
Have another look at the photograph here. As you can see, a bottle of carbonated water and a glass have been knocked onto the sandy floor of the beach hut. The poison could have been slipped into either.
So somebody made Miss Brett drink it.
Well, what do you know? Look at those dashing eyes. This will make for a great front page shot. Maybe you should buy a new camera, you broke bitch. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It will make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would it? I mean, that's been established already.
Hold it!
Established? What are you talking about?
Huh? Don't tell me you've forgotten. That's a little hard to believe given the person who established it was you.
Me? What on earth does he mean?
Oh, let me capture those wide eyes. This is prime press fodder, this is. It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet after all. I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony. That's great, that is. Let me get a shot of that magnificent beard, Your Excellency. Claim it to be impossible that you were the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. You will explain to the court in your testimony the basis upon which you make such a claim. I'm a journo and a man. I've never tried to run a hide for anything in my life. And I'm not about to start... that damn sure ain't about to pick the day to start running? Okay.
For a brief moment, I thought I'd illuminated the truth. But it slipped right back into obscurity again. Just where is this trial going to take us?
Well, into another testimony, it seems. Oh yes, I stabbed the Englishwoman, and that very fact proves that I'm innocent. So let me get this right, dipshit. You poisoned her, and then stabbed her. Are you dumb? Because why would I bother to stab the woman if I've already poisoned her? Because you're dumb. When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murder arguing, it got my goat. If the courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see justice done. Okay. So, you admit it then?
That everything happened as I described? That you are the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the reed screen?
You can blame this miserable country of ours. A country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. What kind of future can a country like that have? That's why I did it. I did what our pathetic leaders don't have the guts to do. Slap bang in the middle of that charming lady's back. I plunged the sweet blade of justice in right there. Well, okay. Fair enough. As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really, really awful about giving false testimony or false information in my testimony before. But as it turns out, somebody else who had it in for the victim and got her before me. That's right, you guessed it. That pretty little student girl. Now there's a woman after my own heart.
You're implicating Ray again.
She's the one who gave the poison to the Englishwoman and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, snap. This journal here is off the hook. You just admitted to assault with a deadly weapon. You're not off the hook for shit. As a matter of fact, you're probably going to jail longer for admitting to perjury and assault with a deadly weapon. The argument is sound, certainly. You dumb bitch. If the witness had administered the poison himself, he would only need to waited. He need only have waited for it to take effect. Subsequently stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical.
And therefore, this reporter had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical.
That's right, it is. Logical and true. I'm glad you've all seen the light. Justice at last. This is unbelievable. After I'd made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he going to get away with it now? Think of Kazuma and Naruhodo. They never stopped looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel. Very well then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination for this trial.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Alright. You heard them arguing. What were they arguing about?
What exactly were they arguing about?
About what happened in that restaurant 9 months ago, that's what. The student girl was laying into the English woman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson. Yes, John H. Wilson. Professor of medicine invited here from England by Professor Mikotoba, no less. Right, but the English woman just jeered.
Her case was to be heard by the British court consular in Shanghai. However, there is little doubt that she would have simply been acquitted and sent back to her homeland a free woman.
Who was eating that student girl up inside? You could see it. I really felt for her. Also, they were arguing. She didn't have time to drink poison, did she?
I can't. I can't stand here and listen to this tripe. Ray.
Young girl, you stand accused here. You just can't blurt out whenever you feel like it.
No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen.
But this awful man is making all of this up. Susato, please. You have to make them listen.
How about you fucking hush on the Susato bit? Return to the dock at once, Mimbami. We are in the middle of a cross-examination.
Hold it!
Your Excellency, please, I implore you. That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness.
I mean, he stabs people, for Christ's sake. We're gonna listen to him?
Exactly. He's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, dirty, great peeping Tom. Holy shit.
Lay into him more. Oh! Take it easy there.
Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say.
Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused's remarks.
I will grant the request of the defense.
But, Your Excellency!
This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings. As such, I believe it would be ill-advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. So, whilst recognizing that this contravenes regular protocol, I hereby call upon the defendant to speak.
Oh. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
There's nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison. Of course. So what were you guys saying?
Hold it!
The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean? I suspected her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson!
That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxic toxin being developed by the government. For the government, rather. Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult. That's true! I pestered Professor Mikotoba until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. But as I left, I was searched from top to tail. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we'd been developing, you see? And since Saseki expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I've had a singularly terrible experience with a deadly poison. I wanted to look my old enemy in the eye. Surely you can understand that.
To find out if my suspicions were true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison. I told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it. The whole government, even. It would be a complete disaster.
And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns?
She just curled those beautiful lips of hers and said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually.
Ah, yes. Any memo? One small question if you don't mind. I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy? Clearly you were outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably, then, it was you who wrote this article about what you heard. Exclusive, deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published in this morning's edition of Shoyu News. The details are too accurate for it to have been written by anyone else. Sorry, don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, look at this. The entire article is almost what I said to Miss Brett, word for word.
Eh.
Well, mini memo?
As a journal and as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of mini memoism.
Father's clearly right about this. That reporter did write that article, and he based it on what he overheard from outside the hut. So that's what it all was about. You were trying to cover up the fact that you were listening in. That's why you came up with that stinking story about me arguing with her.
Shut up! My stories never stink. Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I want it to go on record. Very well. You may amend your formal testimony. The point is, if you poison someone, there'd be no reason to then go and stab them as well.
Let's just,
I mean, feels like you know you're bodied, son.
Objection!
well, I can think of one reason.
What?
But before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. Did you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut?
Of course he did! There can be no question of that. After all, when we were in the laboratory together, all we were told is that it was a terrible toxin.
And there is one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Mimbami's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison into Miss Brett's drink.
Objection!
Where are you going with this, Counsel?
Mini Memo has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it.
Hey! Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have imbibed the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membami entered the hut. Yes, very articulately put.
When I walked into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison. At which point, Mini Memo overheard some of worrying information.
Worrying information? What worrying information?
The information which he subsequently included in his newspaper article, namely, that the poison was being developed in strict secrecy, and that it couldn't be readily obtained.
Absolutely. In fact, that's quite an understatement. The only possible place it could come from is my lab.
And furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison would exhibit telltale signs in death. The extreme constriction of the pupils. Yes, it's quite stark when you see it. There are other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people.
Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Membami being no exception.
Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim was a layperson unaware of its telltale properties. In other words, someone like you writes in Mini Memo.
Shit in.
It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day. And it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that that was a terrible mistake. Because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable. As you listened from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learned these facts. But you'd already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late.
Regular pursuit theme? Yeah, I assume it's because this is the very end of the case, right? And we've done what Naruhodo would, or Ryunosuke would normally do, right? So I think thematically it makes sense.
So you hatched a plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involves stabbing the victim in the back through the reed screen.
But what good could that possibly do?
Isn't it obvious, Counsel? The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect.
Once in the blood, the poison causes onset of pupil constriction. But he had hoped to precipitate the victim's...
Precipitate. I said it right. I almost thought I said the fucking what people call water and hail and snow and shit. Precipitation? That's the one.
The victim's death before that happened, hadn't he?
Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would have ever suspected.
This is extraordinary.
Yes, the effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified, so the killer had to mask its use. Which he attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back.
Tried to kill her twice. That's crazy. Order, order, order. The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward? Only thing they can go is like, well, how did he get the poison?
Well, there are a number of, yes, I counter completely.
Objection!
The prosecution's evasive response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nurtures the remnants of his topknot, he is clinging to lost hope.
Bro, Susato was in the mirror practicing bars. Holy shit, that's off top. No pun intended. Bro. She was really ready. That's all I'm saying.
Lost hope?
Hold it. Fucking threw his hat down for what?
You pathetic, useless, fallen samurai. Fallen? Who are you calling fallen? My burgeoning growth is on the rise. I don't need a counter-argument.
What? What are you talking about?
It should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say. Gave it to the victim, you say. Stabbed her, you say.
You said that, actually. You were the one. You said that you... Like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but... You said that one. Like, we're not tripping here, right? Like, that was he admitted to that one, right?
But I don't need a counter argument because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's the evidence?
Your testimony.
Yeah, you make it all sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. Whereas I base my news on facts.
Facts? What do you mean? Explain yourself.
I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial. It's all here in my many memos. Every word, every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the Show You News is famous for. It's the power of the printed word.
Yeah. How did I steal it? And then we present the pen. Yep.
How's that then? Blown the story wide open? See, I, writing many memos, a mere reporter from the Show You News, couldn't possibly have stolen that poison from the professor's laboratory.
But there can't be any question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it and used it to kill. And if that's the case... As you've identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here.
What's your point, you annoyingly handsome country bumpkin?
Why annoyingly handsome? You want to kiss him or something? The wordplay on this guy's name is Golden. I hate it. Have you noticed the one for the defendant? Remember me? Remember me?
My point is this. There is one way that you, Mini Memo, could have possibly stolen the poison that day.
I've heard enough verbal conjecture now, thank you. What the court must be shown is evidence. What proof do you have that this witness stole the poison on the day in question? Fuck. Keep doing it.
Take that!
The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen.
A fountain pen? How can that possibly be relevant?
These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji characters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago now.
I swear by a weasel hair calligraphy brush and nothing else. These newfangled pens are merely a fad.
I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this, but... Big fad. Well, as a forward-thinking man of words, I obviously love my fountain pen. Stuck upon a fucking, what is that? Of sumptuous ink, when one's work is awash with words in the blink of an eye.
That's right. Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked up through the nib of the pen in order to write with later.
What does all this talking of sucking up ink have?
Ah! And it's just as possible to suck up ink into the reservoir. It's also possible to eject through the nib again, of course.
My word. Can this really be?
Well, Mini Memo? When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up through the nib and into the pen's reservoir.
More absurdity! That never happened.
True, we've heard that there were procedures in place to prevent thefts like this from the laboratory. But would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places?
No, I'm a little ashamed to say that for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would not have been conducted. Well, this is quite startling, I must say.
I remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by Mini Memo. So the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped?
Are you suggesting?
The natural conclusion is that in your haste to act whilst the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen after you emptied the poison from it into her glass.
There could be any number of alternative explanations. For example, the witness could have been using his pen to write down details of his conversation with the victim. And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand.
No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink?
What?
What I get pinged for? Uh-oh. I'm being tagged by Twitter trends. Uh-oh. Oh no. Fuck. I'll have to answer that later.
As you can see for yourself, and if you examine the evidence, there would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. What newspaper reporter goes to interview someone with nothing in his pen? No, the pen was dropped after the poison that filled its reservoir had been emptied into the victim's glass.
Witness, what do you have to say in your defense? Prove it?
So this is how our modern justice system works, is it?
So what if the ink in my pen runs dry? So what if my pencil snaps? I can always claw my way back into the game. I have plenty in reserve. Claim I sucked the poison up into my pen? That's wild speculation, nothing more. If you thought you could bring down a fine upstanding citizen with a trick like that, think again. It looks as though it's going to take one final decisive blow to finish this matter. As I see it, the situation is now very simple. It rests upon whether or not this witness did indeed steal the poison on the day in question. And therefore, it all depends upon whether or not the defense can prove that he did with the evidence. No such evidence could possibly exist.
Mini Memo. This is how our modern justice system works.
What?
In the courtroom, evidence is everything.
Fucking fold your arms when you say that. Come on, damn it. Fold your arms when you say that. Please.
Something you would do well to remember. Because we are all well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you.
Very well then. I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence.
This is it then. This will be the final piece in the puzzle. defense can prove by means of this item that it was the witness's pen that was used to steal the poison. What? Why would I want to examine that?
Take that!
Counsel, what is that bottle?
This bottle contains the unique chemical reagent that can identify the poison in question.
Yes, that poison is an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect traces of it by any other method.
Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison.
A reagent? What?
One drop of the contents of this bottle on the tip of your fountain pen mini memo is all it will take to solve this case beyond all reasonable doubt.
No, you can't. I won't.
Your crimes are bad enough, but at least know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, the defense requests permission to carry out the test on the fountain pen at once.
Break down, break down. What are you doing? This isn't my fault. The Empire drove me to this, trying to hold his head high as a civilized nation. But bowing it, I took up arms in the form of the mighty pen. Fuck me. I can't keep up with this. Oh! Double takedown?
Did I do it right? That was the Susato takedown, wasn't it? Not quite. That was a Ryutaro takedown. The instant the first drop of reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present.
Gonna break down into a takedown? Let's go. I saw it there in the lab. Poison. The devil got hold of me and I decided to do it on a whim. I excused myself and emptied all the ink down the sink into the bathroom, washing the reservoir out carefully.
And then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen.
Yeah, that's right. Answer me one thing, Mini Memo. Why did you steal it? For what purpose? Isn't it obvious? To find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up.
Then why did the Englishwoman end up dead?
I went into that hut intending to quiz her on her situation. That's all. As a reporter. A known killer enjoying full freedom. Evading justice by leaving the country. I told her what I thought about it. She just laughed in my face.
Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman purporting to practice journalism?
Dog, she was racist till the very end. My God!
Really, you must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways, you ignorant plebeian.
What do you call me?
This country, with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free press, it's really very depressing. You see our superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out and crawl back to the cave you came from.
That's when I remembered. About the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time. Terrible tale. In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as possible. But I couldn't. I couldn't let her get away with what she'd done, when she clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose it was my journal spirit, getting all fired up. Damn, you going to jail, buddy? Going to like triple jail. Theft, murder, and assault with a deadly weapon? My God.
I'd like to ask you something.
Eh.
You often talk about justice. But surely as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you thought you sought.
There's no justice in the press.
Sorry?
After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what happened in that courtroom. And finally, I discovered the truth. It was a cover-up. That's what it was.
A cover-up? What do you mean?
I would remind you of your position, witness. Be careful of what you say. Oh, come on! Doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national? Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it. And yet that puffed-up Englishwoman was gonna sail away into the sunset a free woman. The only possible explanation is that behind the scenes, some deal had gone down between Britain and Japan.
What sort of deal?
I'd done my research, dug up all the dirt, it was ready to be published. But you know what happened? The editor just tore the article up. Came under pressure from the government, you mean? If our government is going to let criminals walk free, if they're going to crush the free press, then what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself?
Let's not forget, Mini-Memo, that you committed murder yourself, and you tried to lay the blame at the defendant's door. I'm sorry, but you're no better than that Giselle Brett.
What?
The truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of true. I suppose... It would appear that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last. Counsel for the defense, Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Oh. Yeah, Sorry, Your Excellency. Just musing in a manly way here.
It's a new game, Giselle is back and she's still evil? Well, she was murdered. Goose, I don't know how to break this to you. But yeah, dead as fucking fried chicken. Like, I'm not saying he's right, but I understand, right? Like, I get that, right? I get his point. It's almost unbelievable that this is your first experience of the Supreme Court. It was an excellent performance. In truth, it very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits.
Oh, Ryunosuke, you mean?
The way he handled the trial 9 months ago and the way you handled this one, it gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of justice in this land.
It's very flattering, Your Excellency.
Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your contemporaries.
Thank you.
So, Prosecutor Ouchie, do you have any final thoughts? What are you planning on doing with that there, bud?
Prosecutor Ouchie?
I, Takatsushi of the Ouchie clan, have been bested by a callow youth not once now, but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it has withered and died here today.
Gosh, your journey to cultural enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it?
Bro, she had to have been. Like, the day she found out that this trial was gonna go on, she was just sitting there like, what can I start saying to niggas? I can start giving people bars. I know that guy's bald, he's fucking bald.
Silence! rather than living on in shame. I will end it all now with this blade. For that is the true path to Ouchieism.
Ouchieism?
One hopes that's the only way he'll be modeling himself after the witness.
Sprig of my topknot. The time is right for farewell. Hope is lost forever. Taketsuchi.
He's bald. Now, I've read before, I haven't done, like, much research into it, but... And he even said it before, too, right? The cutting off of a top knot was, like, as instrumental as, like, suicide. But not with the, the same, like, implications and complications that seppuku brings, right? Now, in regard to the defendant, Rei Membami...
Yes, Your Excellency.
I have reached my final verdict. I hereby find you... not guilty. We did it. Ah, yeah, and we get back to the Sakura petals. I love this. Court is adjourned. I hope we immediately cut to fucking Ryunosuke. 13th of August, 2:38 p.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants Antechamber 3.
It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. It's all I can do just to stay standing. Lawyers have such great responsibility. Such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruhodo? Susato! Thank you so much. You were so dashing in there. Rei and Father. Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you've... Oh no, I think I'm going to cry. It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end, too. The only reason I'm still here is because of you. Oh no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Rei, so I would have to say that the congratulations belong to you. Susato, don't be so standoffish. Sorry? We're friends, equals, and the trial's over. So no more of this formal super-humility nonsense. It's time to celebrate with swagger, to throw caution to the wind. Caution to the... what? I'm the great defense lawyer, Ryutaro Naruhodo, and I'm taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow. Or something. Right. I see. I'll, think about it, Rei.
This bitch gay. Good for her. Good for her.
At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man, and it felt so good. Yes, it was satisfying. It really was. Isn't there anybody else we could throw together?
I'm gonna go with no. I hope you're not looking at me, Rei.
Oh my goodness, of course not, of course not! There it is at last, Rei's lovely smile.
You fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Thank you, but I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryutaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikotoba now. So, I'll never see him again then. What a terrible shame.
What is happening?
Ah, Soseki and Inspector Hosonaga. I do hope you've been keeping well.
Is that really you?
Yes, I had to change my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope, but it's me. Susato Mikotoba.
I don't. So dashing, so divine. No! Doubly dashing, yes, and devilishly divine. Just look at you. I had no idea, Miss Susato Esquires, that you were locum student Naruhodo Esquire's cousin. Astonishingly astounding ace attorney. So this is 9 months after the first case of the last game, correct?
Or Soseki, so confused. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum that was the unwitting student from Japan found himself broiled in. But after Naruhodo's skillful defense at the Old Bailey, Soseki was free to return to Japan.
It's kind of hard to see, but it kind of looks like the, you can see the silhouettes of both Naruhodo, or rather Ryunosuke, and Susato, as well as fucking Baroque over here.
And now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author.
I'm stunned. That's a truly impressive disguise. Even I had no idea, and I'm a chief inspector at the police bureau. Who came up with Mr. Turtle, no less? I'm not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector. Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see.
Just two, really? And this was a once-in-a-lifetime event. I hope. Well, I'm not a patch on you, though, Inspector.
Well, I am a professional, of course.
I do worry about Inspector Hosonaga sometimes. I really do. 9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify, he was undercover, disguised as the head waiter of a restaurant. And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey.
Great fucking job you did there, by the way. Oh.
Though that didn't help you, did it, Kazuma?
From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all of this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever. What do you mean? I'm talking about the murder that the Englishwoman committed at the end of last year. Ah, yes. It was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. John H. Wilson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally. The mystery is, why did she kill him? And now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer.
On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter with Mr. Herlock Sholmes, the great detective, I mean.
Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course. My arch nemesis! How lightly you utter his name!
Well, according to the stories published about him in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes. A best friend. And that man was an exceptional doctor of medicine by the name of John H. Wilson. What? Dr. Wilson? I just can't believe it's a coincidence. I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been a friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes. If that's really true, then the poor girl will never see her beloved father again.
Actually, does that make it now that Sholmes is the only person from the previous game that, at least I assume, is going to have a recurring role here that we haven't seen? Because we just saw Iris, we've been seeing a couple, like, throwback frames of Ryunosuke. We have seen Kazuma. We just haven't seen, Sholmes. Which is kind of funny. I traveled to Great Britain once to study myself. It was around the time that you were born. Oh, Baroque too. Yeah, we just kind of saw his silhouette. Ooh, you know what would be cool? If we didn't get Baroque for this game. If we got somebody else. I think Baroque Van Zieks has kind of run his course, and I would kind of like to see us get somebody else. Don't do the Edgeworth thing of this is I'm his stepsister and we follow the same values, but I prosecute a little bit differently. But maybe if he had like a teacher or something, right? I think an older prosecutor, because I think that would be a good missed opportunity, because in Ace Attorney proper, right? We had a unique like look at what an older prosecutor would be like with Von Karma, but it was only for one case. We didn't really get it for much longer. Even in the case of like Apollo Justice, right, where Clavier Gavin was older than him, and in Simon Blackquill with Athena, it wasn't like they were so much older that they had all of this experience where it was just like, yeah, they're here to completely dumpster you, right? Because even with Baroque Van Zieks, right, like he was just he was there and he was out of work for like 5 years, right? So I think that would be an interesting thing, right? Like if he had like a teacher, right? The teacher of the Reaper of the Old Bailey, even while that's a mouthful, I think that would be pretty cool to see. On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at Imperial Yume University. But I also serve another role, as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs.
Yes, I was aware of that as well.
In that case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you.
Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan?
Yeah, you're very clearly not sick, dickhead.
It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan. It said that you had collapsed with a high fever, and that you were growing weaker by the day. What? Where did that news come from? That's what I'd like to know, because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, Father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceived might inconvenience me in some way, or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of.
Dear me. You reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susato. I'm sorry, my dear, I simply can't— Ah! Let me go! Oh, okay, it's this guy.
Mini memo. So, one throw wasn't enough for you?
I got one last thing to say before they take me away. Professor. Me. I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. In that visiting student's fate. Visiting student? Giselle Brett, you mean? No, not her. The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago.
Student of law? You must mean...
Oh. Oh, could you fucking imagine if Mikatoba had Kazuma offed on the boat?
What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma?
Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on the steamship. That he'll never... Ah! The judge! Well, I didn't expect to find him in here. What were you officers playing at? Terribly sorry, Your Excellency. Bro, Judgy got hands. Also, is this our first time that we're seeing a judge outside of the booth? Except for investigations? Yeah, except for investigations. I think this is the first time, right? This is sick. I love this. I was coming to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived, Eugene. Or Eugene. And it's a good job I came by. Yes. Thank you for dealing with him. I'll be there shortly.
Oh, Your Excellency.
The trial's over. I'm not your excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend. Seishiro Jigoku. And may I say that since I saw you last, you seem to have taken on a more dashing appearance. Susato.
Did you know all along? From the start of the trial?
The judge sees everything, Susato. I couldn't let you take the risk. If Seishiro hadn't known that he recognized you. So I had a word in his ear beforehand, as an old friend. So, Seishiro, shall we? Yes, having ruled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address.
Before you go, Father.
Sorry, my dear. We shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date. But well done again, both of you. You did admirably.
Oh, thank you very much.
What did you think of my Seishiro sling, eh? It's been a while since I set a man flying like that.
Whatever could Father be hiding from me? About Giselle Brett. About Dr. Wilson. And now, it seems according to the reporter, about Kazuma. I'm going to have to bring this up with Father sometime. When nobody else is around.
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba Esquires. Could I have a word?
Oh, yes of course, Soseki. What is it?
I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting again like this now. You see, there's something I need to tell you.
Oh?
I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England.
This I have to hear. Please, Soseki, tell me at once.
I will! I will! As you know, my time in England was terrible. Cursed, I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness locum student Naruhodo Esquire stepped in. After he secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back here to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotoba. He wanted to ask me about all sorts of things about my report.
My father?
He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you asking you to return to Japan.
What was it then? The particular part my father was interested in?
I don't really know exactly. But you do remember them. Those two terrible cases I was caught up in.
Of course, I could never forget.
Your father seemed to concern himself with mainly the second case.
The second one? You mean the one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us to talk about in public? Which is why the only case involving you that any member of the public is aware of is the first.
Well, I don't care. I don't have to listen to what that dastardly detective says. Anyway, the point is, it seems that case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions. That horrific, hideous, heinous case. The case of the haunted lodgings.
That case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan. I thought the whole business was over, but it seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told.
I'm gonna go fight the law. Damn, Judge got hands. In engine.
So, the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
Part of me wonders if they did away with those anime cutscenes to kind of get the game out as fast as they could. Not as fast as they could, but faster than having to wait on those animated scenes. Does that make sense to me, right? You have these game models, use them, it's going to be faster than waiting for something to get animated. They had no money. That makes sense too. Money and time constraints being an issue. Gah, 2. And now, wait. What? Wait. Okay. I was a little bit confused there because I was like, wasn't Clouded Kokoro the other one? But I guess not. Retrospective Ryunosuke, 20 chapters!
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved. But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight, then in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night. I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
Oh boy. Put these pretzels down. So is this a flashback case? Okay, that makes sense. When she said like when she said my notes on that case are on like that book to the left, I was like, "Oh, cool. So we're just going to read about it." My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a fledgling lawyer, just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law. Having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. But that epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber, thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. We bow hungry as shit, I feel you. If I were to play the Ace Attorney games, what gameplay timeline should I start with? I would say start with Trilogy, and then just go from there. It has the most games, and the trilogies separate themselves quite nicely. But they do have, I would say, a little bit more, like, rudimentary logic leaps. Like, I could see how some people might be mixed up with some of the stuff that's in this game. And then going back to playing, like, maybe, like, Ace Attorney 1 or Justice for All, you might feel something that's like, wow, that's literally baby's first puzzle. And then be like, okay, well, that was dumbass easy. So I highly recommend doing the trilogy first to get those, like, infantile, like, logic leaps out of the way, just because the series was new. Like, with this, you have the benefit of people know what to do already, right? That's what sequels have the benefit of. Sequels don't have to hold your hand as long, and the logic leaps that you have to make aren't as like, tutorial-esque, right? Where it's like, okay, the bullet came out of the gun. Prove that the gun fired the bullet. And then it's like, okay, well, it's kind of easy, right? Delicious smell wafting up the stairs. Must be nearly time for breakfast. Better go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite. Say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. Oh yeah, he's still got that knife in the wall. 30th of August, 7:28 a.m., Sholmes' suite.
Ah, Runo, good. I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready.
Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I do have some news. Shh, not another word, Mr. Naruhodo. This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you too, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, I see. So that's it. Can you back up just a little bit? Just a smidge? The truth is as clear to me as day. My faculties of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have this very morning met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to that you have been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course, though I don't look for admiration, you understand? My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh. Has it? And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you.
Really pulled your button off?
Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then that in my vexation, I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was an erring.
But Hurley, Runa said that when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning.
Please do the fall. Well, that really is a surprise. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire. The famous consulting detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name. You get a second to check out the flat? Okay.
Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it gets cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend.
And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion. A truly exceptional young girl, who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yeah, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, as published in Rance magazine. So, Mr. Naruhodo, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Ah, well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie you mean? Was it? Really?
That's right. She had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast.
Oh yes, what fun! Well... let's see. I can type with my eyes shut, you know.
I can believe it. The deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun. Hang on a minute! I think this is incorrect. No, it's right. Yeah, timeline check. Gatling guns were first invented in 1861. That tracks. I had to check it out. I thought they were invented in the 1910s. I just had to double check. Because it's capitalized and everything, right? Now, in the same vein, right? Ryunosuke would have no fucking idea what a Gatling gun is, but at the same time, right? At least they were invented.
That reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one. It woke me, actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake.
That's incredible.
But then when it got light, I found that there wasn't a paper in the machine. Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all.
I think you just might have fallen asleep on the job. So many different bottles up there on that charming little set of white shelves.
Oh, do be careful, Runo. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles, even if you're hungry.
I wouldn't do something stupid like that. I'm not a child, you know.
Well, I wish I could say the same for Hurley. The other day, he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids.
Sounds about right. He what?
He said he was hungry.
I'll be extra careful. Machine really is imposing, isn't it? I can never remember its name.
Hurley calls it his great analytoscope. It can analyze anything at all.
That doesn't really help me. What does analyzing something even mean? Ah, an extremely astute question, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry. Well, as Iris said, my machine here spits out analysis results of anything with which you care to present it. But how to interpret those results, that's the key. I confess, I have no idea. Clearly, I'm going to have to construct a great analytoscope and analytoscope to solve the problem. That might not help. Books, papers, scientific implements. These shelves are stuffed to the gunnels. Mrs. Sato wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand mess.
Susie might not be able to stand mess, but she wouldn't dare touch those shelves.
Oh? Why not?
Everything's in intricate balance. Hurley spends ages on it. If you were to touch even one thing, the whole lot would come tumbling down. Susie noticed it was a very delicate arrangement, right from the outset.
You make it sound like a meeting of great minds. The truth is, Mr. Sholmes just needs to tidy up. No, he probably would. Gatling guns were used in the Battle of Shirayama, if I recall correctly. Yeah, no, what I mean is, he would not, like, you would know about them, right? Like, you would obviously have heard of the, like, for example, right? You guys all know what a fucking, where you can look up right now, right, on the internet, what an A-10 Warthog sounds like, right? Fucking very swarm of angry bees firing its main gun. The haha bird. But how the hell would my point is, how would fucking Ryunosuke know what a Gatling gun sounds like, right? He would have to be present for one being fired. That was my point. Can't move right now, right? Aha. Oh shit, what? I really hope that wasn't a skip. 30th of August, Naruhodo's legal consultancy. Because I wanted to... Oh, come on! You son of a bitch. The violin as well? Oh, you're right. Ah, yes. Mr. Shone's faithful musical companion. Wasn't this violin made by somebody famous? Yeah, Stradivarius.
Yes, it's a Stradivarius. Though I'm afraid you'd have to save up for 100 years before you could afford one, you know? Broke bitch.
But didn't you buy it for a song, Mr. Sholmes? I found it at a pawnbrokery among the forfeited articles. It clearly said Stradivarius on the label. What? The ignorant broker had no idea of its true value, you see? So I paid a mere 55 shillings for it. Yes, I have something of a turn for shopping. Herlock Sholmes, bargain hunter. But is it really a Stradivarius then? But of course, my dear fellow, it said so on the label. I think perhaps the ignorant broker had something of a turn for selling. I actually want to see if he's going to talk about this. It's at this time of year, Londoners seem to leave their hearths alight all day long. And I love it. There's something very relaxing about watching the flames flit and dance about. But a fireplace in days of summertime is a waste. Really, no use at all.
Rather like a great detective in days of no crime, no criminals, Hurley?
But consider this. Instead of a fireplace, a frost place. That's my latest idea. An extraordinary hearth from which emanates a cool breeze in hot summer months. What do you think? I think if you invented such a thing, your name would go down in history. The principle is extremely simple, of course. One must, of course, light a cold fire in the hearth. Yeah, of course. Brilliant. The trouble is, none of the fires I build ever burn cold. How it taunts me. So, as you British say, it's a bit of a damp squib? Eh? Now, off the top of your heads, right? Can anybody tell me who invented the air conditioning unit? Because I know it off the top of my head, but I don't think you guys would, right? What was the question? Oh, look, he's stalling. Who invented the AC unit? If you invented such a thing, your name would go down in history. Nobody knows who invented the AC unit. It's Willis Carrier. That's the invention of the modern AC unit. Or the inventor of the modern AC unit. Alright, let's progress. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning. By international post. Look at all them fucking stamps.
Oh, how lovely. Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it.
And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume... No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped the man. Twice. You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago? Ah, the mustached twitchy man with his somewhat feline eyes and the mustache.
You didn't have 2 mustaches, Hurley.
Yes, who could forget about those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made on you. Clearly. So, what was this startling news penned by Mr. Sato? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes. It's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten that. Anyway, in her letter, Ms. Susano asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. Though it took place half a year ago. What purpose? Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. Oh? On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Ms. Susato's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something that Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes. It was very strange, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication, too. But then Hurley was all funny about it, remember? It was very mean.
So let me ask again, because I might be fucking insane. This case we never saw in the first game, right? This never happened, right? Because after we solved Saseki's first case, we time skipped. Like, I'm sitting here like, bro, what the fuck are they talking about? I don't remember this.
That story must not be published, you said. Very mysteriously as well.
Really? I said that. Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Miss Susato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan?
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? Wait, she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan?
So there is your proper time frame. This is 4 months after the end of the first game. The events that are happening right now, 4 months since we said goodbye at the boat. Indeed it was, due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. No, it was just that he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home. Why would he do that?
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. Wonder what Miss Susato's father is hiding.
Hurley, do you know what it's all about?
He's ready. Ah, well, who can say? What? But you said... Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fort in my absence, wouldn't you, Iris?
I will, Hurley, don't worry. See you later.
Scuttled off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Soseki was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes.
Aha! I found them at last.
Iris, are they...
The notes about the case? That's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodging. Do you want to read them, Runo?
Yeah, fuck it. Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. Ooh. That was a big startup. Let's give it a second. Yeah, I like this. This is nice. I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light. Alright.
That's the spirit.
And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation and that fierce battle in court that followed. Reliving every detail. I just needed to find a clue. I have all the time in the world. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. Wait, what? Wait, did we get disbarred? What the fuck happened? No. Run that back. Did he say that we can't... Like, yeah, I remember the last case, but I don't remember us getting disbarred. Because, like, I assume this is punishment for what happened with McGilded, right? But I mean, like, they're gonna disbar us for that, even though we ended up solving the mystery anyways? And the government secrets? Yeah, that we stopped the leaking of. Ooh, bad us. Man, fuck Britain. It was 6 months ago. A mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. They gotta stop showing me this. Well, you leaked it, actually? Yeah, that one. Could you, and like we got told, right? Fucking, Graydon was doing it for a while, right? So, yeah, I'm sorry that I stopped your government secrets from being leaked. Ooh, my bad. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick, and nobody saw her attack her, but by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time, and was duly arrested. That man was Saseki, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato and I decided to represent Saseki in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. That we did. Was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilant jubilation was short-lived. Received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. Oh, is this where the fucking weird guy? Okay, so, right. Remember that weird fucking guy that we saw during this case that said he also lived in that building? And he just didn't show up at all? Now I see why. The victim of Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Bart's at once. There were two characters? I'm talking about specifically the guy that we saw walking out of the apartment, right? The one that talked to us. He was arguing with somebody, but he was the one... I'm talking specifically about the guy that talked to us. The weird-looking guy. So Susato and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital. February 21st, 5:30 a.m. St. Bartholomew's Hospital Recovery Ward. Bro, if y'all don't get these goddamn rats, there you are at last. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not. Oh. You're late. What on earth took you so long?
Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital.
That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I've been waiting for what it felt like an eternity. In point of fact, I myself was woken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy. And feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you. Well, thanks for that. What is up with the wall? I just realized how beaten up it is. Well, yeah, I mean, it was like that when Sholmes was in here last game. Or rather, when we visited here last game. So it tracks that it should be like this as well. Been fucked up for a minute. Anyway, you're here now, so... The victim is over there. She's only just regained consciousness. This rotund woman. You should introduce yourselves, and I shall observe from here. So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with a knife in her back.
Her name is... Ah yes, here we are, Miss Green.
Examine her records. We will do so. But next time. I believe this is a great place to end. And what I actually want to do right now is I would like to, because I talked about it earlier, right? I want to go through and I want to listen to all Ace Attorney themes real quick. Now that we've at least gotten a couple specific ones, right? We've gotten the one for, we've gotten all of our Pursuit themes, right? Assumably, right? Unless there's a new one for this game that I haven't heard. And our new objection theme for Ryunosuke, if there is one. Careful about collections on YouTube. Right, that's why I'm going to search them up by game. I'm not going to listen to, like, I'm not going to click on the whole thing and then get spoiled by, like, oh, we put this pretty picture of the game on there, and I'm going to get fucking spoiled. So we're gonna go game by game. So first things first, we do have the Ace Attorney original, right? We do have that objection theme. So let's go ahead and look that up. Yeah, like all objection themes, all pursuit themes, like you guys are trying to murder me. I'm not getting spoiled. Objection 2001, Phoenix Wright. Now, I think this is a fine theme, right? I think that is pretty good. We need a dance emote. Once I figure out which one to get, I will get it. Now, let's look up the Justice for All objection theme. Is it the same one? Yeah, 2002. Now, I'm going to be the one to say it. I honestly think that this song, this objection theme, is better than Game 1's objection theme. That is probably all I will say is better in Justice for All. But I still think it's very nice. Trials and Tribulations. I like this one the most out of the trilogy. I think they only get better. That one's great. I actually really like that one. For an objection theme, I think that's the strongest. We can do a tier list for this on Thursday too. But I think as far as this goes, this is the best of the trilogy's objection themes. I think it goes 3, 2, 1 in order. But now let's look up the Pursuit themes. I need to go just for Ace Attorney. Pursuit. Now I've been listening to this, so I gotta rewind it. The classic. I think as far as like a Pursuit theme goes, this sets the precedent, right? Your Pursuit theme just has to be, yeah, fuck you. This is your finger point, fuck you theme. I feel like that's it, right? I feel like this is probably, as far as like first like setting out for a theme, the Cornered is godlike, right? Now, you guys ready to hear Ass? it just doesn't have the same. Just what is that? That is not a great theme. IMO, right? Like that does not have, compared to Cornered, that doesn't have the I fucking got you now energy, right? And I think that's what's important for a Pursuit theme. It's the I got you now energy. Like, cuz the objection is just like, yeah, I proved you wrong. Work your way out of this. But the Pursuit is I fucking got you, and you know I fucking got you. So that's at least, like, to me, why I feel that the Justice for All one is pretty weak. Now, I honestly forget Trial and Tribulation's Pursuit theme. Let's go ahead and listen to it. Now, while I will say that I do like this song, right? I do appreciate this track. I appreciate it more than the Justice for All Pursuit theme, and I think that's not a hard hill to overcome. However, I still think AA1 out of the trilogy, easily, right? Cornered is such a good fucking song, right? That's such a good song. Now, after the trilogy, we do have another trilogy. We have the Apollo Justice game. Let's go ahead and listen to the Apollo Justice objection theme. We listened to it earlier. This is my favorite objection theme. Spoiler alert, Apollo Justice has the best fucking music. I'm sorry. But the objection theme is really good in this, because to me, an objection theme, like I said before, an objection theme has to embody the spirit of, I'm starting to get it, right? I've got this, I'm proving you wrong here, and I'm gonna keep it moving. And with this objection theme, the Apollo Justice one, it feels like he is very clearly working towards, like, I'm building up, right? Now, I've already told y'all. Pressing Pursuit. Holy shit, this song. Out of all of the Pursuit themes, this is the best one. It's not even fucking close. Just listen to it. Because you even got the leitmotif of the beginning of Cornered in the very beginning. Like, I'll play it again so you guys can listen. You're very aware that this is that is Cornered, right? They are playing the same notes as Cornered, right? Very clearly. And then it fucking kicks up, and then it's like, oh shit, oh yeah, oh. This is such a good track. And then the breakdown. Oh, here we go. That fucking synth gets me every time. God, this track rocks. Holy fuck, that song is so good. That song is great. Dog, I remember, I know that we do have all of Apollo Justice saved. You can go back in time and hear me react to hearing this for the first time. This song fucks. I love Apollo Justice's Pursuit theme. Now let's look up Dual Destiny. Objection. This is the Phoenix Wright one. We need Athena's. Because essentially, which VOD it was, it's literally the first Apollo Justice one, because we played through the first case all together. So it's definitely in Apollo Justice VOD 1, wherever exactly it is, couldn't tell you. But Athena Sykes, Courtroom Revolutionnaire. And now, obviously, with sound fonts, right, with the 3DS having better hardware, right, obviously the stuff is going to sound a little bit better, right? So, obviously, all of the songs that we've heard before feel very, very, more like actually realized songs, right? I think it's very nice. I think it's a nice track. But let me look at the Athena doesn't have a unique Pursuit theme, right? They all have unique Objection themes, but the Pursuit theme is its own. I would actually be careful about looking up OSTs for the Great Ace Attorney games. Yeah, no, I'm going to be. We're just looking at the first 6 right now. We're looking at the first 6, and I guess we'll check out Investigations as well. So, Pursuit for Dual Destinies. Keep pressing on. I think it's very, very triumphant, very, it has a lot of good, it hits the good notes of, yeah, it's like celebratory almost. And this is what we've talked about before with Ace Attorney themes, especially in the later games, right? Those themes becoming less of a, all right, you're on the right path and you just delivered a fucking crucial blow to, yeah, you've done it, good job. You're about to cross the finish line. Good job, right? This is what I feel like it is, right? I feel like this theme specifically starts off the trend of, yeah, what we're doing here is letting you know that you've won. It's still not a bad song. I really like the song. And the guitar is great. It's really good. Okay, hold on. One of the videos just came across my across the recommended because I scrolled down to see if the SOJ Pursuit theme was there. And it says Apollo or Ace Attorney SOJ spoilers. Apollo's big scene but with the music he deserves. Ooh. I'm going to have to check that out. Now, if you have not seen Apollo Justice, or not Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice, We did play it on the channel. Woo! Hold on. Hold on. It's what you did? Oh yeah, where I played his song? Of course it is. I gotta check this out now though. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. One window capture. Oh, hold on. You guys don't get to see that. Just sorry. Now I can drag it up. Okay. Ignore the recommended, because fuck you. God, I love fucking Apollo, man. God, this scene would have been great. So this is what I was talking about. For those of you that don't know, in every game that Apollo Justice has appeared in, so Dual Destiny, Spirit of Justice, that theme does not come back. And like I've said, I think it is the best theme that you can have. That is the best objection theme, or pursuit theme, bar none. So let's move from Dual Destinies, and let's actually check out what music was in Spirit of Justice. First, check out the objection theme. Spirit of Justice was a great game now that I think about it. New chapter a new chapter of Trials. Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. From what I remember, this was the objection theme. And you can tell, very much like the Dual Destinies one, but it's more. There's more instruments added. It feels more grand. There's certain like little breaks off of other instruments hitting other notes during the music playing. It feels very good. And now, Spirit of Justice, the Pursuit theme. I am not a huge fan of cornering together. I'm gonna let that be known. And now I understand what was done with this theme, right? I understand that this theme was supposed to be, it was supposed to be like a pursuit theme for all three defense attorneys, right? It was supposed to be a theme that Apollo could use. It was supposed to be a theme that Athena could use. It was supposed to be a theme that Phoenix could use, right? And I appreciate it for what it is. I, however, don't like it because I think as opposed to giving all of the characters their own specific pursuit theme, you're robbing a little bit of the like individuality for each of them. And maybe that was the point, right? They're all working together towards a common goal. They all have very similar interests. They work for the same company, right? Maybe that's it. But at the same time, right, like given the old like pursuit themes like this, it sounds like it's 5 seconds away from being Eurobeat. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just what I feel, right? Maybe I'm a psychopath. But honestly, I feel like it could have been a lot better. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Ace Attorney spin-offs, right? Investigations. These games, I think, are pretty damn good. I think they definitely need a remaster. And I would love to see them get remastered. But it's a game that doesn't really have a courtroom phase, right? All of it is investigation. And what would it be Lying Coldly? Would that be his pursuit theme? Where the fuck is it? I just gotta search for it. I looked up the Investigations OST, and that was a mistake. There we go. Ace Attorney Investigations Lying Coldly. This is what's considered Miles Edgeworth's pursuit theme. I fucking love this! That fucking synth piano going off. Got the little drum kicks in the background to help it. Fuck, that's so good. And then we have Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Because fucking Miles Edgeworth gets 2 games. Fuck you. But it's called Wanting to Find the Truth, which I think is a great fucking song as well. As you can tell, I've already been listening to it for a little while beforehand. Wanting to Find the Truth. This song... Oh, I love this. Oh, this is so good. You hear those synths coming in like they're fucking violins? Oh my god, there has to be like a remix of this, right? There has to be like a fucking... Hold on, let me Ace Attorney Investigations 2 remix. Oh, there's a fucking... Oh, yeah. I've listened to the Game Metal one, which is like a guitar remix, which I think is pretty good as well. That's great. For those of you who don't know, my tier 3 sub alert is that guy's remix of the Apollo Justice Pursuit theme. Oh, I fucking love it. It's so good. It's so good themes. I love them. But I think that as far as we've seen in Great Ace Attorney, the themes are okay, right? I don't think they're bad by any means. I do think they don't hit exactly on the same mark that I would expect a Ace Attorney Pursuit or Objection theme to hit on. But given the timepiece that these games are set in, I feel like they're very nice, right? I definitely like them a hell of a lot more than something like Justice for All or Spirit of Justice, right? I think they're great, right? This game has the best OST far and away. Like I said, I feel that way because I feel the Pursuit and the Objection themes, they have to hit in a specific like tone for me to go, that's the Objection theme, that's the Pursuit theme. I completely understand why this is playing, right? Because I feel in this game, like, and we even saw that last stream, right? Where people were like, oh, this is the Objection theme. No, wait, this is the Objection theme, right? Like, SNR, who I would consider probably one of the more knowledgeable people about this series, even got it wrong, right? Like, I think that kind of speaks for itself, right? Like, the songs are good, don't get me wrong, right? I still think these songs are great. But at the same time, if you had to ask me, and would I listen to this game's OST, or would I pick specific tracks of other Ace Attorney games to listen to their OST? Like, you ask me to listen to this game's fucking Pursuit theme, or Wanting to Find the Truth? Holy shit, it's Wanting to Find the Truth every single time. You know what I mean? So again, I feel like this game does have a very solid overall OST, but I don't feel like it's anything that, in respect to what I feel about Pursuit themes and Objection themes, I don't feel like it's anything that's super crazy, at least just yet, right? So let's go ahead and save here. I wonder about the decision. There are some surprises, and I'm more than willing to hear them, and I'll definitely change my opinion if the music warrants me changing my opinion, right? So I'm very happy to make it through this game and then give like ratings on everything Ace Attorney, except for the Professor Layton game. We might never play that. But as it stands right now, like, I think this song right here, this is a fine song. And you even still have that cornered leitmotif, right? And it changes ever so slightly. I feel like this is a great, like, song for this game, if that makes sense. I feel like this is an amazing song for Ryunosuke Naruhodo. If Phoenix Wright had this song, dog, where is Cornered? Where the fuck did you guys put Cornered? Right? But I feel for this game, for this time setting, it makes sense. And I like it. But like I said, if there's any fucking super hard bangers, I'm 100% willing to change my mind and be fucking wrong, right? But for now, I think that's gonna do it for me for today. I'd like to thank you all very much for coming out for the continuation of Ace Attorney Chronicles 2. What is it, Resolve? And until tomorrow, I'm gonna have to get out of here, but for now I do want to give a shout out over to C6 Sayu for gifting a tier 3 before the stream started over to a friendly mirror maiden. And a shout out over to M&H for sticking with us for the 10 months, as well as gifting a tier 3 sub over to Small Pepperoni Pizza. But for now, I'll have to catch you guys later. Until the next time though, you guys take it easy. I'll catch you then. Peace.